Hello everyone. Today let us see about William Shakespeare's biography. William Shakespeare was a renowned English poet, playwright and actor born in 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon. His birthday is most commonly celebrated on 23rd April, which is also believed to be the date he died in 1660. Shakespeare was a prolific writer during the Elizabethan and Jacobean ages of British theatre, sometimes called the English Renaissance or the early modern period. Shakespeare's plays are perhaps his most enduring legacy, but they are not all he wrote. Shakespeare's poems also remain popular to this day. William Shakespeare was the third of 8 children born to Mary Arden and John Shakespeare, but he was the first of their children to survive past infancy. 3 of the children died in the youth. The Stratford of William Shakespeare's childhood was a peaceful town surrounded by farms, woods, fields, and the flow of the river Avon. William attended his first professional theatre performance at the age of 11. All of these performances had an impact on the early development of William's dramatic and poetic interests. His father, John Shakespeare, had a remarkable run of success as a tradesman, alderman, and high bailiff of Stratford. He was a glover. His mother, Mary Arden, was a local heiress. She was a woman who inherits or has a right of inheritance the family home. Shakespeare's birthplace has been restored and turned into a museum. William Shakespeare's birthplace was on Henley Street, where his father had lived for several years. John was married to Mary Arden, a wealthy landowner's daughter. Shakespeare's school days. At the age of 5, Shakespeare began attending school 6 days a week. The long school day began around 7 in the morning and ended around 5 at night. At school, boys studied mostly Latin. Shakespeare was removed from school to serve in his father's glove-making business at the age of 15. He did not go to the university, but he read what books he could get hold of in his spare time. William didn't spend all of his teenage years working. He found time for play and romance in Stratford, attracting the woman who was soon to become his wife. When William was 18 years old, he married Anne Hathaway, who was 8 years older than him and pregnant. The marriage was a hurried affair, taking place in a secret rather than in a public ceremony. At the age of 20, Shakespeare had a wife and 3 children to provide for. 6 months after their marriage, in May of 1583, their first child, Susanna, was born. 2 years later, William and Annie welcomed twins, a girl and a boy, into their family. The girl, Judith, was a healthy child, but the boy, Hamnet, did not live through his later childhood years. Shakespeare would see his wife and children little in the next 11 years, most likely visiting only once a year. Shakespeare bought a large, expensive Stratford house, New Place, in 1597. It was the second largest house in Stratford. This was quite early in his career. He was still working in London most of the time, but it gave his wife and children their own home and proved to everyone that Shakespeare had paid off all his family's debts. At the end of his career, Shakespeare returned to Stratford and lived at New Place until he died in 1616. William Shakespeare is the most influential writer in the world, but he left us no journals or letters. However, he left us only his poems and his plays. He had an ability to capture the interest and imaginations of playgoers of that time. Shakespeare had became an actor and playwright in 1592. William Shakespeare is the most influential writer in the world. The theatre was divided into higher priced balcony seats and the cheap floor space where the groundlings stood. Shakespeare plays had a darling mixture of violence and romance, and Shakespeare's words brought his audience straight into the heart of each and every character. As a playwright, he made little money for the writing he did, and he made even less money for his acting. Shakespeare became patron of London's Globe Theatre, which became the home of the Lord Chamberlain's men. At the age of 46, Shakespeare moved back to Stratford as a wealthy gentleman. He continued to write plays and hold his connections to the Globe Theatre, but in 1613, the Globe Theatre burned down, indicating Shakespeare's retirement from the theatre. Shakespeare entertained Ben Jonson and the poet Michael Drayton one night in April 1616. They had entertaining time together, drinking wine, eating and laughing about their lives. Soon after that night, Shakespeare fell ill. He died on his birthday, April 23rd, at the age of 52, and was buried 2 days later inside the chancel of the Holy Trinity Church in Stratford. By the time of his death, at the age of 52, Shakespeare had produced nearly 40 plays and more than 150 sonnets. He had earned a good reputation as a poet of the people. Thank you.